So this is completely and totally scandalous now. I mean, the government actually now is set up against the law to be criminal. OFCOM is now actually set up to be criminal. OFCOM is actually set up to help crime, to facilitate crime. They did have a case against Jacob Rees-Mogg, and they fined him, but it was based on their policy, which was apparently to do with news programmes, right? But their policy is wrong. Their policy is actually purposefully ignoring the actual law itself. And then you've got this Baron Grade of Yarmouth who's meant to be in charge of it in the House of Lords. When you actually go onto the Ofcom website itself, this is the Ofcom website, right? And then when you click on the channel, GB News, and when you click on an option, it's actually got Farage listed. I mean, I think some people from GB News have lost their jobs, like Mark Dole, and they're arresting these MPs for these, sexual offences charges. There's been 2 MPs arrested recently. So the police are arresting MPs, but they're arresting them for normal offences. Mike Amesbury punched someone and ended up losing his job, but they're not actually taking action for the real serious things. It's even got Farage replay on here. So this is actually Farage's name. Ofcom is actually promoting Farage. Now, Farage only got elected to an MP because of advertisements and publicity. All of the advertisements and publicity which contributed to Farage getting elected, right, has to be accounted for through the spending of the party. They've got his name here on Ofcom. They're listing his name, Farage, right? I just cannot believe this. And they've even got Jacob Rees-Mogg at the top. Jacob Rees-Mogg State of the Nation replay, right? Now, Ofcom did take action against Mogg, but they're trying to pass it off that he's allowed to be on there in the first place, or while he was running for election, and he lost. But it's the policy of Ofcom. It's trying to make it sound like they're even allowed to be on in the first place. Ofcom are completely behind this. They're totally behind it. I mean, they were up in front of the Digital Media and Sport Committee, who are going along with it as well. What they're doing is they framed it so that, okay, we're going to pretend that this is legal, but then we're going to come up with some load of tosh rules which aren't the law, and say that, then they might be breaking the law on these points, right? Like, news presenting or what they say or do. It's actually got nothing to do with what is said on the programme. It's to do with, it says that the candidate being presented to the public through a means which is not accounted for in the spending of the party. And then here they are being presented to the public. Ofcom are presenting them to the public. Ofcom are hereby presenting them here, even in their listings. These people are actually being promoted on the Ofcom website itself. Here, look, Jacob Rees-Mogg's name now. Mogg is not an MP now, right? But Farage is. And he only managed to get into Parliament by getting voted in. But he got voted in because he was getting a very big profile, mainly from GB News, from Talking Pints. That's what the law says. GB News paid for that. They facilitated all of it. Reform have just beaten the Labour Party by 6 votes. This is completely unfair to independent candidates. So I don't think we're going to get anything done with it because Ofcom are completely behind the corruption. They're advertising it here. Ofcom are actually facilitating the crime. They're part of it. Ofcom are actually part of the crime and facilitating it. Yet the Speaker of Parliament actually appeared in a Betfred advert, and he had to apologise for doing it. But that's literally just on the boundary, on the threshold, you know. So they said that it was wrong what he was doing, appearing in a Betfred advert, and they had to get him to apologise. But this is way across the line. So what Ofcom are doing is their actual policy itself is ignoring part of the law. It's ignoring some of the clauses of the law, and it's trying to reframe or apply the law in ignorance to what the law actually is, completely and totally. They're not allowed to be entertainers, and I don't know why anyone who's in the entertainment business would want to become an MP. Really, if you decide, right, I want to be an MP, you should immediately withdraw from entertainment. That's what should happen. But the thing is that because of social media, loads of people are, you know, doing things for or against candidates, right? And really, it's all illegal. Even some of the comedians, I think, probably who do comedy sketches of politicians might possibly be illegal if it's going to affect them in the election, right? And it's almost kind of like if the whole country, right, suddenly started breaking the law and went round, for example, if the whole country started rioting, or if the whole country started, you know, I don't know, punching people, right, then there would be loads and loads of offences, right, and the police would have a lot on their plate. But if the police just ignored it and said, and turned a blind eye and said, right, it's okay now for everyone to go around headbutting people, right, it's just the norm, then they won't be doing their job properly. What is actually happening here is that this GB News programme and Ofcom itself, they're trying to make that it's okay and normal for these politicians, MPs and people to present these programmes when it's not. And if the police just kind of like go along with it, what they're actually doing is helping them. And we've just had this woman elected into Parliament who won by 6 votes for Reform UK. And Farage is a mascot for Reform, right? Farage is a mascot now for all the Reform UK candidates who are getting elected now. Farage is their mascot. He is a mascot for Reform, and GB News is privately funded. So here, look, Farage replay. Ofcom up advertising Nigel Farage, who is he's a mascot for Reform Party. It's him who is Reform UK, right? And Ofcom are promoting Nigel Farage, which you can't do that. Surely, well, not surely, I know you can't. It says in the law. Now, Jacob Rees-Mogg has stopped now, but he tried. Now, the case against Rees-Mogg was not actually based on that clause of legislation. Ofcom brought it on completely different point of law to do with something that he particularly said. What did it imply, what he said, and what it means? But I don't really know what planet the courts are on. I really don't know what planet the judges are on, because they're meant to revise and read up on the law when they hear cases, right? And if there's other offences identified in connection with that case that become apparent, they're meant to act, right? So, you know, I mean, Baron Grade is actually in charge of this, and he's actually... they're advertising candidates for elections here in the name of the programme. This is absolutely ridiculous. Look at this, Farage replay. They've even got Esther McVeigh on here and Lee Anderson as well. This needs to stop now.